Greetings. On behalf of the staff at the Division of Finance, I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome and look forward to working together to continue to make Laredo ISD ever better. De parte de la División de Finanzas, bienvenidos.
Hi, on behalf of the Laredo ISD Office of Communications, which includes the Instructional Television Department and the Printing Department, I want to wish you a safe and happy start to our new school year. God bless you.
Hello, I am Dr. Gerardo Cruz, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and we are glad you are back. Here at Curriculum and Instruction, we've been working hard all summer to make sure that you have all the necessary resources. Welcome back to a great school year.
The Technology Services team is thrilled to welcome you back to school. We are ready to make amazing things happen. Have a great school year.
I'm Maggie Martinez and I'm the proud Assistant Superintendent for Student Services. On behalf of our Student Services team, we want to welcome you back and wish you the best for this coming school year. It's going to be different, but we are strong, proud, and ready for it. Best of luck.
Hello, Oscar Perez, Assistant Superintendent for Compliance and School Safety. Welcome back to this exciting new year. I know it's challenging, but Compliance and School Safety Department stands ready to support you throughout the year.
Greetings from LISD. My name is Dr. Bobby Ramirez, and I am the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. We'd like to welcome all of you back, all of our 4,000 employees. We are so excited to start the 2021 school year, even under these difficult circumstances. We are here to support you and to make sure that you are successful for our kids.
From Angel Velasquez and the Support Services Division, welcome back LISD. It's going to be a great year. Bienvenidos.
Wishing you much success for the 2021 school year, the Office of the Superintendent is always ready to assist you. Abrazos.
Greetings. On behalf of Laredo ISD, I welcome you to the new school year. We are so excited about beginning this new year via remote learning on Monday, August 24th. Most importantly, I am extremely proud of our LISD students and staff for the resilience that they have demonstrated and their ability to adapt to the challenging circumstances that we continue to face every day. Let it be known, we will rise above it all because Laredo ISD is strong, proud, and ready. Best wishes, God bless, and stay safe.
Laredo needs your creativity, imagination, and drive.
This semester challenged you, but you came back as champions.
We're very proud of what you have achieved, and we wish you the best of luck.
Always be true to yourself. Be kind and be honest.
You're resilient, tough, and smart.
Here at Laredo Independent School District, we're very proud of you.
Walk with me, I'll walk with you. Down these troubled roads we've stumbled into. We're all in this thing together, we're gonna make it through. If you walk with me, I'll walk with you. Be there for me, I'll be there for you. When we're running out of hope, when we don't know what to do, like a candle in the darkness, shining bright and true. Be there for me, I'll be there for you. Oh, everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Alright. You and me got better days coming, yeah. Everything is gonna be alright. Walk with me, I'll walk with you. I know the rain of today will bring tomorrow's bloom, where we can't see where we're going, what the world is coming to. You walk with me, I'll walk with you. Gonna be alright. walk with you. Alright, everything. Oh, walk with me. Gonna be alright. And I will walk with you. It's gonna be everything. It's gonna be alright. Everything. I will walk with. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Everything. And I will walk with. Gonna be alright. I will walk with. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Walk with me. I will walk with you.
LISD, let's walk this journey together, hand in hand, because Laredo ISD is strong, proud, and ready. God bless and stay safe.
Good morning and welcome to the Laredo Independent School District's Convocation for the 2020-2021 school year. My name is Veronica Castillon, and I serve as Executive Director of Communications for Laredo ISD. I'm honored to welcome you back to our new school year. It's been a challenging 5 months that we have all experienced, but my hope is stirred as I imagine all of our colleagues watching from their computer monitors and big screens. And while we can't be gathered under the same roof yet, we are all traveling this journey together. And we look forward to the days when our students bring their energy and curiosity back into our classrooms. As we join together to celebrate the start of the new school year, we want to take this opportunity to honor some very special people in our community. Today, LISD recognizes our frontline workers and the first responders who have put themselves in harm's way during the pandemic while they place the needs of others first. This includes our school nurses, our police officers, the workers who are keeping our schools safe and clean, the staff who provided breakfast and lunch in our grab-and-go curbside meal service, and our teachers who made distance learning possible even when our schools were closed. We acknowledge the personal sacrifice and the risk of those who put their health and life on the line so that our children could continue receiving our services even when our schools were closed in March and throughout the summer months. We also remember those who have lost their lives to COVID-19, those who have suffered from the virus individually or among their loved ones, and we lift up those still recovering from the virus. And now, please join us for the invocation to be offered by our Assistant Superintendent for Accountability, Compliance, and School Safety, Mr. Oscar Perez, and also following the National Anthem performed by LISD music educators. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the 2020 Teachers of the Year, Ms. Nancy Pacheco of J.W. Nixon High School and Ms. Erlinda Trevino from Alma Pierce Elementary School.
I invite everyone to bow your heads, pray, and stand in agreement according to God's Word in Matthew 18:19. Father, we praise you, we honor you, and we glorify you. Laredo ISD is blessed beyond measure with committed and caring teachers, administrators, staff, supportive parents, and community. We ask the Holy Spirit to be with us as we travel our journey to deliver quality instruction to LISD's 24,000 students during the 2020-2021 academic year. Father, during these challenging circumstances, we will not fear, and we declare that the joy of the Lord is our strength and believe you have given us the strength to answer our call to the teaching profession and persevere in our purpose to engage in the teaching and learning process. Proverbs 24:5 states that a wise man is strong and a man of knowledge increases power. We stand strong, Father, on your word and pray that you give us favor in our roles to listen to our stakeholders and lead our organization. We believe that our steps are ordered by you, and we stand firm in our faith that we will be safe as we perform our work to educate our students and build your kingdom. Lord, send your angels to go forth and protect every member of the LISD family, and we bind the enemy and evil spirits that try to disrupt the instructional continuity in the classroom and the school environment. I pray Psalm 91 over every member of our organization. Father, I speak life and blessing to everyone present in this convocation and those that we will be in contact with in person or in remote settings throughout the year. We lift up our Board of Trustees and our Superintendent in prayer as they lead LISD to a successful 2020-2021 school year. We are conquerors. In Jesus' mighty name, we receive it. It is done, and thank you for it. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Hold on, hear me out. Empty rooms could be so loud. I just wanna let you know I'm proud. I just wanna let you know I'm proud. Close your eyes, tune them out. You're right here with me now. I just wanna let you know I'm proud. 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 Close your eyes, tune them out. You're right here with me now. I just wanna let you know I'm proud. I just wanna let you know I'm proud.
On behalf of the Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees, I greet you and welcome you to a new school year with all of its possibilities and promises. Our recent accomplishments these last few years have been tremendous. We need to continue to focus on teaching and learning so that our students graduate from high school and are ready to enroll in the college of their choice, enter the military, or join the workforce. We know that we have work to do. It's work that requires dedication every day and in every classroom. It's work that requires focus, collaboration, and a mindset to do what's best for the children of LISD. I don't need to remind you of how important your job is for the children of LISD. These students need your interest, understanding, and challenges. Laredo ISD has been in existence for over 138 years, and we have many established traditions and outstanding educators who came before us. But most importantly, our teachers are the foundation of our district's success, and without your efforts, we wouldn't have the graduation rates and academic achievements that LISD is experiencing these days. Never before has your calling as a teacher been more crucial than it is now. This pandemic caused you to experience unprecedented changes, and you face the challenge head on and with grace. You rolled up your sleeves and did what had to be done so that our children would continue to receive their education. You are becoming Google Classroom experts, and Zooming has become a natural part of your routine. My fellow board members and I are impressed with your ability to develop our children and shape them into tomorrow's leaders. As we begin this year, I wish everyone the greatest success as we welcome close to 22,000 students on their educational journey. I look forward to a year filled with great achievements and learning. Work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen. Mil gracias, and may God bless you and protect you. And lastly, to my favorite 3 LISD educators, my beautiful daughters, Ronnie and Claire, my son, Heki, I love you, and I wish you a great school year. Thank you.
Good morning, LISD family of educators. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to visit with all of you and to talk a little bit about what this school year is going to look like and exactly what our plans are. First of all, I think that it's important to think about all of the wonderful things that we are surrounded by, and at the same time to be able to give thanks to all the wonderful people that have done their best to keep LISD operating and to provide the services that LISD students are entitled. So with that being said, I would like to give out a very, very special thanks to all who have worked so very, very hard through the entire year, not just through the closure, but also through the summer and as well as through all of these weeks, culminating in what will soon be the opening of our schools. It's important to think about who is at the root of the work that we do. And I will tell you that my first thanks really go out to all of our campus teachers, to the staff, and of course to our administration. They've done everything possible to keep this school going for our students. And I know that they do that because there is a vested interest in keeping our students ready, in making sure that they are able to move forward and do everything that is possible and for them to be able to reach their potential. So a very, very big thank you to all of our campus teachers, to our staff, and to our administrators. teachers. Without even thinking about it, there's also another very, very important group of individuals who I know have been at the heart of supporting our teachers and our students, and that is the Department of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. These individuals have worked tirelessly throughout the entire year, from August and most especially since closure in March, all the way through the summer, in preparing our schools and our staff so that we can do the best that we can for our students as we move forward. Our Curriculum and Instruction and Assessment Department, of course, has a very large group of people that are working together, not only in preparing the curriculum for our teachers, but also in making sure that the proper training is also available to our teachers, to our staff, to our principals, and even to our children. And then, of course, we have our assessment department that really helps us work towards finding the means to identify where every student is and what it is that they're doing, and how we can actually pinpoint the areas that they need to be able to evaluate, and so that way that the proper services are provided. There's also another very key group of individuals who I know have been just a significant piece of rolling out our instructional plan throughout the year, but most especially during closure, and that is going to be our technology department. They have risen to the challenge of ensuring that at every campus the necessary equipment and the necessary training is going on. Without anything else being said, they have worked hand in hand not only with curriculum, instruction, and assessment, but also with student services, who have whose staff have provided guidance as well as supports for all of our students. The finance department, as well as maintenance, operations, and facilities have all worked together to make sure that we provide the proper PPE as well as the equipment to sanitize our schools, and just to keep our schools ready and open for our students as we move not only through this part of the year, but throughout the entire year. I also want to brag about our child nutrition program. They have been essential in providing our families all of the needed resources, all of the needed nutrition and meals for our children and their families. It's been such a wonderful part of our program, because really when you talk about a school district, it's not just about child nutrition, it's not just about academics, it's about making sure that every single child has what they need to be able to sustain themselves, not only physically but also academically. And so I will tell you that in the very first week of school, our child nutrition program provided 79,000 meals. And so with that thought in mind, we've been working diligently to project what it is that is needed to make sure that every single child is nourished, not only academically, but physically. This part of the year has also provided a lot of challenges for us as far as maintaining the safety and the health protocols that need to be in place, because we want to make sure that every child, every employee, and everyone who visits our campus is safe. And so with that being said, our safety and compliance department has risen to the challenge, and so we would like to thank them for being able to coordinate and collaborate with the other departments to create a set of protocols that we will be implementing throughout the year. Our human resources and communications departments have also been very key and central to ensuring that we keep our staff informed and that we keep the community informed. And this has been a really big challenge, especially at a time when there are so many changes from week to week and sometimes from day to day, coming not only from our Texas Education Agency, but from our local health authorities and as well as from local leadership. So I would like to be able to thank them and say that they've been a key part to keeping our organization running. Our central office staff and administration have also been central to the idea that all of these programs need to be able to be coordinated and they need to work together so that we can ensure that there is a continuity of operations and at the same time that there is a consistency and that there is a purpose in what we are doing. Least Most important, and not the least important, is our LISD Board of Trustees. The LISD Board of Trustees throughout this year has been very, very generous in making sure that all of our staff members, especially during the closure months, that they were still being compensated, and there was a resolution that was passed for that. They have also approved the purchase of Chromebooks for all of our students in grades pre-K3, pre-K4, kindergarten, first grade, all the way up through high school, so that we can meet the mandate of ensuring that every student has the opportunity for an equitable education. One of the other things that our Board of Trustees has done is approve the purchase of hotspots for internet access. And as you may well know, yes, we are teaching from our homes and from other locations, from other remote locations. But one of the mandates from the Texas Education Agency is to make sure that every student has access to the internet because of equitability. We want to ensure that if one student has a certain set of tools from which to learn, with which to learn, and to support their learning, that all students have that same equitability and access. In addition to that, the district was very cognizant of what needed to happen so that we could support our employees, not only during this pandemic, but to also validate all the work that they're doing and to, in some way or measure, contribute to the costs that have been mounting in insurance. And so one of the things that the district did was increase the contribution to the insurance plan for our employees. So instead of just providing a $475 payment per month per employee that is on our insurance program, the district went ahead and increased that contribution to $525. And what that does is that it keeps our premiums at a lower pace or as far as increasing, or it keeps our premiums at a minimal amount as far as increase. So that is something that the district has done to be able to help our employees as we move through the year. And this is something that has happened every year. So we want to thank them for that. The other thing that has happened within our Board of Trustees, and as far as the work that they do, is that, you know, life continues, and so there's been a lot of construction going on throughout the district. And so one of the things that the board has done is that they have been overseeing each of these projects and making sure that we meet our completion timelines, and that if something else is needed, for example, repairs for roofs or repairs for any other part of our facilities, that is being approved. So we're very thankful for that. In addition to that, the board also approved the purchase of additional buses and fleet vehicles. There's been so much more that many people have contributed to keeping our operations going. And I will tell you that it's not just one group that has to work together. It has to be a lot of groups working together. And the message that I have for you today is to think about what it takes to keep an organization like Laredo Independent School District, who serves 24,000 students as well as has a family of 4,000 educators and staff. It takes everyone contributing and becoming part of this organization, because every single person works towards making that puzzle fit together. And I will tell you that we've been facing so many difficult times. And yes, I know that people are very, very worried about what's going on in our schools. But I have to remind you that it's not just one moment that defines Laredo ISD. Laredo ISD is 138 years old. And through that history, there have been ups and downs. There have been times that have been very challenging. There have been opportunities for great success. And we can measure all of those great successes. And at the same time, we can also evaluate all of the times which were difficult. But I can tell you that as we move forward, we cannot just be thinking about what are the bad things that have happened to our school. We need to think about the great things that our students and our staff have contributed to continue with the great work that has always been done at this district. And sometimes it takes people working at a lunch line. Maybe it takes people who are doing extra work in providing those instructional packets. Maybe it takes a walk around the park to signal our support for breast cancer survivors. Maybe it takes reaching out to the community and to the public and making sure that our agencies, that our partnerships are still in place, because we need everyone to be able to work together. And the only way that that happens is by reaching out to one another and being able to foster that which is important to all of our students, to all of our staff, to the history of this school district, but not only to the history, but what is yet to come. So as we start thinking about that, we need to think about some of the things that have already occurred. Safety of all students, the safety of our staff, that is our priority this year. And with that being said, I can tell you that LISD has moved from week to week, day to day, to be able to develop a plan that will mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic. This plan is going to be specific to every department, because we know that people go in and out at different times. We know that there are different functions that are required from every department. We know how schools operate, and we understand that the very first thing that we have to do is safeguard the well-being of every employee. We also have to safeguard the well-being of every student and their families, because after all, these are the individuals who are going to eventually, at one point or other, return to our schools, work together, and so therefore there is that need to ensure that our schools are operating at that level of safety. So the Safety and Compliance Department has worked on a plan. That plan was submitted to local authorities for review, and that plan is actually part of our district approved plan to ensure that whether we are teaching from our homes, providing services in our schools or away from our schools, that everyone is safe. And we are going to continue to work towards that end. We are going to continue to communicate the expectations to our students, to our staff, as well as to the community, because it takes everyone working together to make sure that we sideline the pandemic, and that we find some way of safeguarding our students and staff, and hopefully returning to some kind of normal operations within our school. With that being said, as I've already previously mentioned, our maintenance, operations, and facilities departments have been working very, very well together with all other departments to ensure, number one, that our students are well nourished. What was it that we were going to do to ensure that our students were nutritionally fed, and at the same time that we were able to provide the safety that was needed in each of our buildings? To this end, our maintenance, operations, and facilities department has purchased extra misters. There's been training at each of the facilities, at each of the campuses, so that instead of calling out for a team to come and sanitize your school, there is going to be teams within the school to be able to ensure that those buildings, those facilities are maintained, they're sanitized, and that they are safe. So when everyone returns to school, or when someone comes in at any time during the school year, that those buildings are ready, they are sanitized, and they're appropriately equipped so that everyone can be safe. In addition to that, we know that really the meat of the entire operation of any school district is curriculum and instruction and assessment, because this department works to serve the major purpose of why we are here, and that is to ensure that every single student in LISD, regardless of where they live, regardless of their social economic status, every student has to be able to receive equitable opportunities to succeed, not just this year, but every year. And so that's one of the things that our curriculum, instruction, and assessment department has been doing. And I am very, very proud of this department, because as they have moved throughout the year, and regardless of the pandemic closure, which started back in March, I can tell you that this department has worked tirelessly, hand in hand, with all of its other departments, including special education, bilingual education, our career technology department, and our gifted and talented population, as well as all students, to develop a plan that was consistent. And in this time of the year where we've been faced with the pandemic. They have had to work just exceptionally well together to create a remote instruction plan. And that is so important for everyone in this call, in this conference to know. Because the state of Texas, as well as other states across the nation, have been faced with the pandemic, we have had to resort to different kinds of plans for instructing our students. And so one of the things that TEA is requiring is that every school that is going to undertake remote instruction actually develop a plan that will be measured by a rubric, and that rubric is going to determine whether or not our instructional plan is something that will be accepted by the state. So they have been working very diligently on this plan in collaboration with all other departments in the district, and of course with teachers and our campus administrators, to ensure that what we are going to put together is something that is going to serve our kids, but at the same time it will meet the standards that the Texas Education Agency is requiring. So to that end, CIA has revised and aligned the CARES guides. They have developed an accountability and assessment plan to ensure that student progress is occurring from week to week, from time period to time period. They have aligned professional development to address the teaching and learning that goes on in a virtual classroom. They've aligned the Fundamental 5 to actually inspire remote learning and at the same time be able to inform remote learning. One of the things that I know that you are going to be listening to in the next few days and maybe in the next few weeks is how the professional learning community is going to change, or how it's going to adapt to the needs that we have and during this particular time and during the rest of this year. I also want to give out a very big shout out to our technology services department and to our instructional technology department. Because of the purchase, the approval of the purchase of Chromebooks, this department has worked to ensure that there is a Chromebook or some kind of device, a digital device, and hotspots for our students all the way from pre-K through 12. And this is important because this is a mandate from the state of Texas. All public schools are under the mandate of providing an equitable instructional program and platform so that this school district, as well as any other public school district, remains funded by the state of Texas. And the funding is important for various reasons. I think that one of the most important reasons is that that funding has to be in place so that we can ensure that the services that are being rendered to kids continue. These services, of course, include providing teachers, providing instructional resources, providing instruction on a daily basis, and that needs to happen, and that comes through the funding that is appropriated by the number of students that are actually participating, enrolled, and engaged in our instructional programs throughout the year and every day. But now the new twist is that the Texas Education Agency is saying, look, this is different than closure during March through May. This is another school year. It may be starting from a remote location, but the same requirements, the same standards need to be addressed. That means that students need to learn the standards from each of the content areas, from each of the areas in which they are being taught, and that we still have to be able to provide the services that are necessary to sustain our students, to support our students during instruction. So technology has been a very, very key department in ensuring that we have ordered, not only ordered, but procured and made sure that every student will eventually have a digital device. And this is a very big undertaking, and that is a very big investment, but it is an investment that is well worth it for our students and for our staff. Yes, we have to learn maybe a new way of teaching our students, but it is going to be a way that is going to ensure that our students are still going to be able to progress and be able to reach the potential that I know that each one of them is endowed with, and that we as educators are tasked with developing throughout the year. Student services has also been a key component in the organization of our schools this year. Our nurses, Our guidance counselors, our guidance and parent engagement program services are still here. And in fact, they are much more robust. And as we move through the year, these programs are going to actually support the instruction that is going on within our classrooms. So these are very important programs, and they work hand in hand with instruction, as well as being able to provide the necessary supports that our students need throughout the year. Our finance department has developed a balanced budget that will include, or has included, additional funding to support remote learning, the purchase of Chromebooks, and of course, access to the internet. They have worked diligently to fund our district health and safety protocols and equipment that has been ordered for every single employee. We have ordered additional masks for our students, and we have worked in providing assistance in making sure that our insurance premiums do not skyrocket. So these are things that the finance department has gone out of their way in more than countless ways to ensure that our students and staff are provided with the necessary supports that will make this year a little bit easier as we travel the journey together. Human Resources has ensured that we begin this school year with a teacher in every classroom, virtual or otherwise. They have coordinated employee protocols that have addressed COVID-19 at the Human Resources level, and they are working continuously with our campus staff as well as departmental staff to ensure that we move forward together as one unit. Our communications office has been very instrumental, especially since the beginning of closure. We have collaborated with district staff to create and publish a district back to school page, and I invite you to go back and look at our web pages and see how that web page is going to be of assistance to parents as well as to our own teaching and learning community. They have also collaborated and published an instructional continuity page that we hope to continue publishing and developing so that all of these resources are available to our parents and to our students, as well as to staff. They have published COVID-19 information and a response web page so that we can ensure that everyone is well informed about what our safety protocols are going to be for the year and what are the expectations that are going to be set forth so that we can continue to safeguard all of our LISD community. They've also developed and published health and safety public service announcements, and those are going to continue throughout the year because we know that even though we are connected digitally, there still has to be a way to inform the public, not only through our digital devices, but of course through radio, through television, through different kinds of media. Now, when I was able to speak to our administrators this year, I talked to them about General Stanley McChrystal. And he is a general who has served as a ranger and really has led countless men. And one of the messages that he really spoke to and really related to our situation in Laredo ISD as well as to any public school is that we have to be willing to listen. And we have to be able to take whatever we're listening to and who we're listening to and how we listen to ourselves and learn from this, because this is a different time in our lives. But it's a time that requires learning, not just from everyone who we lead, but also everyone involved in this organization. We have to be able to learn from each other, and we have to be able to listen to each other so that all of us really become the leaders, whether that leader is in a classroom, that leader is in an office, or that leader is walking the hallway delivering meals or waiting for our students to be dropped off at their schools when that eventually happens. There has to be an understanding that all of us together, more at this time than at any other time, we have to be able to listen also to ourselves and start thinking in terms of what does this time in our lives require so that we can be successful as a team. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome a lot of different leaders that have come into our LISD family and who are ready to become part of this leadership team and who are ready to work together hand in hand with you as well as with every other department. This year we have a new Executive Director for Technology Services, and that's Mr. Ambrose Gomez. We are also fortunate to have a bilingual ESL intervention coordinator. Her name is Dr. Carmen Pompa. We would also like to welcome Mr. J.J. Gonzalez as a Safety and Compliance Coordinator, Ms. Yvonne Degollado as a CCMR Coordinator, as well as Ms. Claudia Gonzalez and Cindy Dominguez. And this is going to be so critical that these three individuals work together with our high schools in ensuring that our students, as they progress through the year, have an opportunity to define what their college, their career, or their military readiness is all about, and how we can prepare these students as well as help them and support them so that they can move forward and choose the path that they are wanting to undertake, and at the same time make sure that they're successful when they leave our schools. We have a new PEAMS coordinator, and her name is Ms. Jessica Ostos, and I know that some of you know her, and I hope that you will welcome her into your schools and into your department as we move forward throughout the year. We have two investigators that have been hired by the district, and I know that they are going to be an asset to our police department as well as to our human resources department. Please welcome Ms. Doreen Hale and Mr. Eugenio Reyes. At the campus level, we are very fortunate to see that there's a group of individuals that are stepping up and that they are going to be able to assist our staff at the campuses as well as our students and our parents in making this year become a very successful one. So please help me welcome Mr. Mario Mireles, who is now the Director of VMT, as well as Ms. Lori Moreno, the Assistant Principal at VMT. Assistant Principal to Martin High School now will be Ms. Elsa Barron and Mr. Jose Hernandez. We want to welcome them and the experience that they will bring forth to this particular campus, and I know that they're going to do a great job there. We also have a new Assistant Principal at Bruni Elementary, Ms. Brenda Arispe, and an Assistant Principal at Dovalina Elementary, Ms. Maria Prado. We have an assistant principal with a lot of experience who I know is going to contribute great things to Alma Pierce, and her name is Ms. Trina Bratton. Ms. Veronica Ramos will also now be headed to Milton Elementary, as well as Ms. Velma Quintana, and she will be the assistant principal for Milton Elementary. And assisting us as an assistant principal to Santo Niño will be Ms. Michelle Gonzalez. We want to give a very big welcome to them, and I know that they are looking forward to assisting you and our students so that we can be successful this year as we move forward. Now, every year, I can tell you that I am extremely proud of every single person at the campus level who works from day to day, year to year, to improve and support our students. Our elementary teacher of the year from Alma Pierce Elementary, Ms. Erlinda Trevino. I would also like to congratulate our secondary teacher of the year from Nixon High School, Ms. Nancy Pacheco. And the paraprofessional of the year, who I know does a lot of work for her elementary and is an exemplar to all other elementaries and to all paraprofessionals. Please help me congratulate Ms. Nora Sainz. The clerical paraprofessional of the year is Ms. Sylvia Ortiz, and she is from Leindecker Elementary. All of these individuals contribute their talents, their time, their efforts, and their hearts towards the children that they serve and to the community of which they are a part. Now, when we're talking about rising to the challenge, we have to depend on people who are going to lead that charge forward. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, from my heart, congratulate the elementary principal of the year from Santa Maria Elementary, Mr. Jose De Leon. There is so much to say about this individual, from all the way from greeting the children at the door to his school, as well as supporting the staff at his campus. Congratulations, Mr. Jose de Leon. The secondary principal of the year is also an outstanding individual. She has been a principal at that high school for several years, and so we are very, very glad to congratulate Ms. Cassandra Mendoza, Nixon High School principal. The rookie principal of the year we always like to recognize is a person who we know is going to take that campus and support that campus and ensure that everyone at that campus, whether it's a staff member or a child, is going to have every opportunity possible to be successful. So please help me congratulate the rookie principal of the year, Ms. Michelle Martinez. So we talked a little bit about what is it that we're going to be doing this year, and how are we going to actually take this plan and make it a successful plan? Well, I will tell you that it really begins with setting our district targets. Our district targets have to reflect where we are now, where we've been, and where we want to go. And so that is really the very first thing that we have to do, whether you are serving in a department, you are serving in a campus, or you are serving the district at the central office level. We always have to look back, and we have to see where we are today, and we have to determine where we want to be. This has been a difficult year in doing that, because times were really, imposed a different challenge upon us. And that happened to be the pandemic. We were not able to close the year, but really we were here since March, all the way up to March in person. So I would like to tell you that we do have the opportunity to be able to gauge where we are today and where we want to be. So I think that the very first thing that we have to do as individuals, and it doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing, we have to be willing to educate ourselves. And we have to be able to educate those whom we serve. If you are a teacher, you have to be able to educate our students and bring them to that understanding of what it is that is important for them to learn, so that they can be successful when they leave your classroom. If you are an administrator, or if you are someone working in a department, it's still the same thing. We have to be able to educate ourselves, be willing to learn, and find what is best working today. Because what might have worked a year ago, what might have worked 5 years ago, is not going to be the same thing that's going to be working now. So we have to be able to adapt ourselves. We have to be able to work together to face the new reality. Now, the standards may not have changed. Maybe we're going to be doing things differently because we're at our houses for the time being, or maybe we're going to be working on a different set of schedules, but the goal remains the same. We still have to be able to provide opportunities for everyone to be successful. And this is an educational organization, so it begins with a focus on our students. So how do we do that? Well, we have to create a viable and measurable plan. And that plan is all the way from the instructional piece to what is going to be happening in each one of our departments, and how are we going to support those departments and our learning community. So along this way, we have to determine who is going to walk with you, who is going to walk with us on this journey, and what the roles and responsibilities of every individual will be. Because we have to know each other. We have to be able to listen to each other. We have to be able to learn from each other. And we have to know who's going to walk along this path with us. Because at this point in time, everyone is necessary. Everyone is needed. The individual talents and resources that a person brings to the table, all of those have to be brought together so that we can walk this journey together, so that no one gets lost along the way, and so that at the end of the year, we can stand proud, we can stand tall, we can stand strong, and we can say that we have managed to work through every challenge that has arisen before us. We have to be able to articulate our plans to our students, to the staff, to our community, and we have to be clear about what is expected, not only from them, but from us. Because more than anything else, we may be connected with a digital device, but we have to be connected in more ways than one. We have to be connected not only through our minds, but also through our hearts. We have to have a shared purpose, and we have to have a shared consciousness of what it is we want to be able to accomplish, not just for us, but for those whom we serve. And then we have to start walking. Yes, we can dwell in the past, but if we're going to dwell in the past, we should only be doing that so that we can avoid pitfalls. We can avoid what held us back in the past, but we have to start walking. And in some cases, we're going to have to walk very carefully, tread very carefully, and in some cases, we're going to have to run. But we're always going to have to keep moving forward so that the opportunities that lie ahead are open to each one of our students, as well as to our staff, as well as to LISD family of educators. So we have to think about that. Start walking. Don't stop moving forward. Avoid the pitfalls, but always look ahead. So what are the 5 targets that we have set for our LISD family of educators? The very first one, and I think probably the most important one, is number 1, we have to learn and practice COVID-19 health and safety protocols. And this is not do you want to? This is a must. We must learn and practice COVID-19 health and safety protocols every day. And when we return back to our schools, and that is the expectation from the Texas Education Agency, this has to be in place. This has to be something that is non-negotiable, because every life is important. Every person that moves into our schools, walks through our schools, attends our classrooms is important. And we have the responsibility of safeguarding the health of every individual within our family. We also have to, number 2, review accountability standards for the 2020-21 school year. And what that means is that we have to be able to analyze where our students are right now. Because even though we're in a different setting for instruction, the state is still telling us every single school in the state of Texas is going to be rated this school year. So we have to know where our students are, where they've been, and where we want to take them so that they can be just as successful today as they have been every year. And when I'm talking about success, I want you to think about all the great things that our kids have accomplished. There have been championships in athletics, in fine arts, in academics. We were rated as a College Board honor roll school. We have 6 blue ribbon schools right now. Out of our 20 elementaries, 19 were recognized as exemplary schools. We had 1 recognized school. In our secondary schools, all of our schools were recognized. 1 was met standards. And I want to tell you that 1 or more of our secondary schools this year, high schools, was ready to become an A campus, meaning they were ready to become an exemplary high school campus. And we were 1 point shy of being that A district. We can do it, but we have to keep our eye on the ball. We have to make sure that every single student that is tasked to us, that every single student for which we are responsible, that we are able to provide the instruction and the supports and all of the activities that they need to become well-rounded students, and so that they can be successful as they move forward in their careers, as they go through high school, and so as they go through life. The third priority for our district is to make sure that we commit to ensuring that our students are registered and they attend daily instruction. This is so essential for ensuring that they not only receive the services to which they are entitled, that they receive the instruction that is so necessary for them to move forward in the years to come, but so that also that our district remains financially and fiscally viable. We have to make sure that the funding for every single student is there so that we can keep on providing the resources that they need, the services that they need, and so that we can continue ensuring that all of the staff that we have continues to serve our students and that we are able to ensure payroll. And so those are the things that we have to talk about. And it's a practical simple kind of thing. We have to talk about the registration of our students, the attendance on a daily basis of our students, and that is a priority number 3. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with every single person at the campus being aware of who their students are, making sure that there is contact occurring between parents and students, and making sure that there is contact occurring between staff and with parents. That is so essential. So we have to work together to ensure that our students are coming to school. We also, number 4, have to align our campus instructional plan to district model. In this case, you're going to hear a lot about the synchronous and asynchronous models of instruction. We have to be able to talk about these models not only to our parents, but also to our staff and to our students, and there has to be an understanding that we are going to have to be able to meet campus timelines and benchmarks. We have to become acquainted with the resources that we have, and if we don't have those resources, we have to be able to identify what resources are needed to support you as educators and to support our students, so that as we move through the year, that everything that we can do to possibly support our students is available. We have to make sure that we attend our campus PLCs and that we monitor the planning and the delivery of instruction. More importantly, number 5, whatever we are going to do in our campuses this year, we have to articulate this plan to our students, to our staff, and to our community. And it's not a one-time communication. We have to continuously talk about what it is that we are expecting from ourselves, what it is that we are expecting from our students and parents, and what it is that we need as support from each of these organizations so that as we move forward. And lastly, we need to be able to monitor and adjust our plans. So those are the priorities that we have set for this school year. So as I said before, you are going to be hearing a lot about the instructional continuity planning that needs to happen at the district level as well as the campus level. Dr. Jerry Cruz has been working with CNI to make sure that we have a plan that will meet and explicitly address the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills for the required curriculum. So there's no shortcuts. If you are teaching science, you have to teach science. If you are teaching math at the 8th grade level, then it has to be 8th grade math. Of course, we have to make sure that the proper supports are in place and that everything that is possible to communicate these supports and to provide these supports is actually happening. Accountability has not gone away. And so each one of us, each one of our students, each one of our programs will be held accountable by the state of Texas. So at the end, we must provide artifacts, we must provide evidence that we are doing everything possible to ensure that our students are being provided with the services and the instruction as mandated by the Texas Education Agency. Now, as you are looking at this slide, you're going to see what you call the COVID slide. I want to point your attention to this particular slide because what we're doing this year is probably going to be one of the most difficult things that we have ever attempted to do. In a normal year, there's always what we call a summer slide. There's a little, detraction, or there's a little distraction from what students learned in the year because summer is occurring. And of course, students are not with us the entire summer. What's important about this slide is that I want you to be able to look at the deep turquoise line. When students are identified as low income, their slide or their lack of progress is usually a little bit more because they are not attending our schools. And that's why we do have our summer school programs. But I want you to note that in this particular slide, if you look at the 3 lines, there is a line there for students who are identified as high income, there's a line there for middle income students, and there's a line there for low income students. I want you to note that when schools closed in March, through June, that slide or that dip in progress for our low-income students was 55.6%. And if you think about that, how many months was that? That was like losing 5 to 6 months of instruction in the year. And that is what happened because of closure. I think that that is one of the reasons why the state of Texas is saying, look, it's not about closure anymore. How do we close that gap? And I want to remind you that Laredo ISD is a 96% economically disadvantaged school district. That means that many of our kids, the majority of our kids, fit into that Title I criteria of low-income students. And so if we're looking at this particular slide, then we're looking at the lack of progress that occurred just because our schools closed. Now, if you delve a little bit deeper, you can see by the little dotted lines what kind of a slide there was all the way from 3rd grade through 8th grade in mathematics. And you can see that from school closure in March all the way through June, you can see that the slide is, you can see the depth of the slide for each of those grade levels in mathematics. And so that needs to become a priority for us. Because if our students are expected to perform at grade level this school year and they were passed on to the grade level, then that means that our students have to find a way to lessen that gap. And it's not just our students that have to lessen the gap, it's how do we assist our students in closing that gap. Now, when you look at reading, the gap is a little bit less. However, you can still see that what was supposed to have been learned last year during that March through June period, it's still pronounced. And so not only are we going to have to find a way to close the gap, we still have to be able to meet the expectations of this school year. And the way to do that is by really focusing on the needs of our students, what student expectations were taught and which ones were not, and looking at the individual progress of each child. That is the expectation from the state. Now this year, we're not going to have SSI. We're not going to have SSI for 5th grade and 8th grade. So here's the additional challenge. If you are a 5th grade teacher and you are an 8th grade teacher, we used to have at least 2 opportunities to move our scores up. What's going to happen this year, there's only going to be 1 test given. One time that particular set of tests for 5th and 8th grade are going to be given. So in other words, whatever score comes out, you don't get a second chance to bring those scores up. The tests are going to be at a later point in time in the year, but it's only a one-shot deal. So whatever we do from when August 24th rolls around to the end of the year, that's how our students are going to get measured. So that's the extra challenge that we have. We have to close the gap, but at the same time, our students still have to be able to perform on grade level by the end of the year. And we have to be able to say, whatever happens at 5th and 8th grade, it's a one-shot administration of those exams. Is that a difficult thing to do? Yes. Am I just saying, oh, you can do it just for the sake of being a cheerleader? No. What I am saying is I know that it's going to be difficult. And it's going to take all of us working together to make sure that those gaps are closed and so that LISD keeps moving forward, not backward. There have been so many wonderful accolades that this district has earned, and it's upon us to continue that upward trend, not only for our students, but for your campus and for our district. Now, as I said before, Dr. Cruz and CNI and your campus principals are going to talk a little bit about remote instructional learning. There are 2 different types of models, and we are going to be using the synchronous and asynchronous learning models. You will get a little bit more information as you progress through the year, and the expectation is that we're going to learn about these as we go, and that there may have to be some tweaks along the way, but we are going to move forward as one team. We're going to do that for our students. I also want to talk to you a little bit about what TEA is expecting of us as far as remote learning is concerned. The state of Texas had originally given us only 3 weeks to stay at home and do remote learning. But because of pressure from us, as well as every other public school district, that was moved to first 4 weeks. But here's the caveat to that. Yes, we do have a provision of staying home for 4 weeks, but here is the requirement. that if we are at home, every single child has similar access to instructional materials and quality delivery of instruction. So it cannot just be an instructional packet that we're delivering to the students. If the majority of our students have internet and digital devices, then that means all must have digital devices and internet access during the first 4 weeks. Or those students and their parents can request that those students attend our schools face-to-face. We know because of the safety issues, we want our students to stay at home. But if there are parents that insist that their students do not have a digital device or that they want their kids to attend school, that is a provision that the state is asking us to comply with. On the second 4 week, which our board approved, our board approved to extend remote learning for an additional 4 weeks, which would then add up to 8 weeks. That period is supposed to be considered a transitional period. In other words, we're going to be looking to see what is happening with local authorities, what is the trend in our community, and are we still required to stay at home? But again, the idea is in the second 6 weeks, the second 4 weeks is for our schools to move into a transitional period when groups of students are being allowed to go back into schools. Now, do parents have a choice? Yes, parents have a choice. However, we as a school district have to be able to comply with their choice. So we are hoping that as we move forward, we are going to be able to comply with this kind of a timeline, and we have to keep tabs on what our local health authorities are demanding on us and what are the changes that the state is going to bring upon us. But as a public school district, we have to still provide some measure of compliance. I also know that our sister school districts in the area have already put out a transitional plan as to when students will be returning back to school. We are very concerned about the safety of our kids and our staff, and we are going to have to comply, but in ways that may not be the same as any other school district. However, please understand that as we move forward, parents are being given the choice of asking their students or demanding that their students attend our public schools for face-to-face instruction. So, no STAR, so now what? Well, as I said before, we have to have a plan. What does that plan entail? Well, we have to look at data. And right now, we do have a set of data that we can review. We have our fall EOC data. We have our spring benchmarks that were administered or right before we left for spring break. We have our TELPAS results, and we have our end-of-year assessments that were given at the end of during the closure period. So one of the things that we need to look at is data, and that data should give us a clearer picture of where every student is at this particular time. So I'm very proud to say, and this is data that was provided by our Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Department. I'm very proud of the work that they do, not only in the instructional piece and in the delivery piece, but also in compiling the data that will inform the decisions that we make. If you look at our end of course data, you can see that all of our high schools had positive progress. Even at the master's level, and you could see that was in December. That was even before our students were given the opportunity or should have been given the opportunity to do testing at the end of the school year. So if you were to look at this data and you look at the students that now are going to be at a different grade, they are no longer freshmen, now they're going to be sophomores and so on, you can see that there were so many significant gains. So congratulations, high schools, congratulations, CNI, for this data that you are providing and for the supports that you are providing on a daily basis. My hats off to the deans, to the directors, to the coordinators who work alongside of our staff, and of course to all of our teachers and campus administrators. You've done a great job of keeping us there, and I will tell you that based on this data, I know that we would have had some very, very positive gains and possibly some A high schools or exemplary high school ratings at the end of the year. When you look at the spring benchmarks, you can also see that if you were to look at the cumulative results from 3rd grade all the way through middle school, you can see that we have a target of 30% for mastery at each of these levels, and you can see where that 30% was almost being hit, and that was early spring. I think that if we had had the opportunity to complete our testing cycle, we would have had some, probably all of our elementaries at an A, and all of our middle schools should have measured a great deal of progress in their testing also. So congratulations to our elementary and to our middle schools. I know that you were on your way then, and I know that you're going to pick up the reins, and that you're going to continue to move forward, and that you're going to look at every single individual student and what it will take to move our students to the positive results that they deserve. One of the other things that I am really very, very proud of is our district TELPAS results. Congratulations to all of our campuses. If you remember, last year we were rated as a district as an 89. And we were looking at our bilingual and ESL results and our TELPAS results. And at that time, the state had set a 36% as that standard that we needed to meet. Well, the district, for the most part, was able to complete a great deal of the TELPAS administration during the spring. And I will tell you that if you just look at this data, our district went from a 34% to a 44%. So hats off to everyone who worked with our EL students throughout the year. These are super, super great results, and that means that there was great attention paid to the individual student and to the individual progress of each of our EL students. And this is so important because as you start looking at the accountability ratings, this would have been a rating that would have propelled our district to an A. And that still remains a goal for us. We need to start thinking about where do we want to be as a district. There's so much hard work that everyone has done. And again, my hat's off to every individual teacher, to every single campus administrator, central office administrator, the parents and the students themselves for doing such a great job. So this is an example of the great work that was being done last year. So with that being said, I want us to think about one other assessment that the state gave us, and that was the opportunity to participate in what we call the end-of-year STAR assessments. And this end-of-year test really gave districts the opportunity to measure where our students were at the end of the year. Now, this was not an obligatory test. It was not a mandated test, but it was giving us an opportunity to diagnose where we were at. And if you look at the different areas that were measured, you can see that even even while we were at home and our students were taking these tests, you can see that our scores all the way radiated or reflected gains all the way from an 85 to a 57. And you see that cutoff there where you have the meets standard, which is a 60%. You can see how many of the areas already met that standard at meets. And I will tell you that we need to be able to look at this set of data also to be able to see how did that slide impact us and where is it that every student is at. I want you to particularly look at those areas that we still need sufficient work to meet that 60%. There's about 7 areas in which we were above the meets, and there's about 7 or so that we need to be able to work towards that meets. Well, the good thing is that you know who your students are, you know where they left off, and now what is the plan? I talked about aligning our campus plans to the district plan. Well, now let's take it one step further. Aligning the individual student plan to what it is that you want your campus to achieve and what it is that we want our district to be able to attest. We want to be able to say that every single student in this particular year was given the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential in our classrooms, as well as in every other activity in which they were a part. So I want us to look at this data, look at it with a sense of reflection, look at it with a shared purpose and a shared consciousness of where we need to go. As I said before, we need to listen to each other. We need to learn from each other, use all the available data that we have to learn from each other, learn about each other, learn about our students, and then we have to be able to lead the charge. And so as we move forward, I just want you to remember that our theme for this year really reflects who we are and who we've been for 138 years. Laredo ISD has always been a very strong district, and that's because there's a sense of pride that really radiates through everything and everyone that is a part of our district. Everything that we do is measured at that level. We are proud of our students. We are proud of our staff. We are proud of our schools. And now we are being pushed to be strong, stronger than we've ever been, because we have to rely on the pride that everyone brings to the table, but not only that feeling, we have to let our actions speak to that pride. We have to let whatever we're doing speak to the strength of our community, and we have to be ready. Remember, anytime you go into a game, you have to have a plan. And that plan has to be able to address all the what ifs. So, Laredo ISD remains strong, we remain proud, and we're ready for the school year. And I want to tell you, I am counting on you. I will walk this walk with you, but we need to travel the journey together. It's not about one person walking the walk. It's about all of us walking together, holding our hands and making sure that as we move forward, we don't leave anyone behind, that we remain strong, that we remain proud, and that we prepare ourselves for whatever is to come. So I do wish you a very, very great year. Rely on each other, work together, and remember that the focus of all that we do is those who we serve. Stay strong, stay proud, be ready, and stay safe. God bless, and great best wishes for a great year.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue, and I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side like lovers do. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to until I come for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. And I will hold on to you. No matter what this world will throw, won't shake me loose. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to until I come for you. will fight. I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue.
We are not giving up on you, and we are not giving up on us, because we make a difference at LISD. LISD is strong, proud, and ready.